afternoon. Welcome back to day 2 of International Yoga Day and Believe, Trust, Transform, our online yoga event. It's great to see so many people here, and welcome to this lunchtime bite-sized piece of mindfulness. Today, in line with our theme, we are going to be exploring a wonderful topic related to mindfulness and recognizing thoughts as thoughts and working on ways that we can begin to trust what is inside of us. So we will be welcoming Sarah in just a moment to guide us through today's session. But just to welcome everybody here today, if you're signing in via Hopin, then please do have a look around and make sure to check out the replay section as well if you have missed any of the sessions. And also, if you are on Facebook or YouTube, if you find any of this helpful, please do feel free to share with others. So we really hope you enjoy today's session, and let me introduce to you Sarah. So good afternoon, Sarah. How are you?
Hello, good afternoon. I'm good, very excited.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to hand over to you right away, and let's dive deep into this very fascinating topic. See you soon.
Thank you. So, good afternoon, all of you present here, and thank you for your time. So, I'm Sarah, and the way I want to start this practice is really just a very short state, and then I'll get to tell you and present myself a bit better. So, for that, I just invite you to, in whatever position you are, in whatever you are in the country or in the world, just to find a comfortable seated position just for just a very short moment. And by doing that, just allow both of your feet to be grounded on the floor with your hands resting on your legs, just having the seat bones grounded into the chair or the sofa or any surface you might be sitting on. Just allowing the spine to be long, erect, and wake. And invite you to close the eyes if that's okay, or just having a soft gaze. Just allowing a moment for you just to connect to sensations in the feet, sensations on your seat bones as you sit here. Maybe just the pressure of your hands resting on your legs. Just giving yourself just a moment just to arrive into this session, into this present moment. Maybe the next breath is a bit more full or wakeful. I invite you to take a nice deep breath in and a long deep breath out. And if your eyes are closed, then I invite you to open the eyes and welcoming you again to this space. So I'm one of the yoga teachers in the Frog Project, and I'm also a mindfulness teacher. And that's why I'm doing this session with you. So just to tell you why I love so much mindfulness and why is it so important to me is that through the years, it gave me the skills to deal with difficulties in life, which we all have in different ways, but also allow me to appreciate the good things in life a bit more. And that supported my well-being overall. So what's going to happen in the next 30, 25 minutes is that I'm going to guide you to cognitive-based therapy exercise, just to give you a bit of an insight about thoughts in general. We'll have a small discussion about it. And then I'm going to guide you to a meditation practice, a mindfulness meditation practice, where we'll be dealing skillfully with thoughts. And then we're going to conclude the session. So we're going to start our contemplation exercise, which is called walking down the street. So this is not really a meditation, it's more just almost a visualization of a situation. So I'm going to ask you to bring to mind what I'll describe, and I'm going to ask you to take yourself to that place as best as you can, almost that you would be leaving that event, that experience, that could really be there. So that'll be a very quick contemplation. So I'm going to invite you to find a comfortable seated position, maybe the same way as we started. If you're rather just resting down on a mat or on a sofa, you're more than welcome. Just making sure you feel comfortable. We're not going to stay here too long. So allowing a moment for you to choose that posture. And then I invite you to close the eyes specifically for this exercise if you can. Same as we started, just finding a sense of connection with the posture you are. Maybe taking a full breath just to arrive once again to the body, to this experience. And then I invite you to imagine almost that you could live that moment vividly. Imagine that you're walking down the street. Maybe this is the street that usually is in your commute, a place that you're familiar with. And as you're walking down the street, on the other side, you see someone that you know. You smile and you wave. And the person doesn't respond and keeps on walking. So, how do you feel? And what thoughts are going through your mind right now? How do you feel? And what's your thoughts? Or maybe a urge or a behavior of doing something as well. And I invite you then to open your eyes. And you're more than welcome to share on the chat what you felt or what was your first thoughts about this situation. I know some of you might not want to share, and that's more than welcome. So I'm just going to ask you to really think about how that situation felt for you and your thoughts. And I'm just going to tell you what is usual the answers here. And just see if you can relate from what you felt. So usually some people would say they feel worried that something is going on with that person and they might want to check on them. I can see Carol as the answer. Did she not see me? Yes, and that's a very good one. So that was the thought. And if you want to add Carol in the chat, what was your impulse or what did you feel like you wanted to do after that? If you want to share. So So I'm just going to continue to tell the different options that usually people give. So worry is one, thinking about what's happening with the other person. Some people might think that there is something wrong with them. They feel that they've done something wrong. So Serena said, I felt this person to be angry with me because I've done exactly what I was saying. Other people even, they might think that they feel guilty, like they just did something wrong, but they did something to upset the other person. And some of them might want to go and check with the person, worrying about the person, just checking if the person feels okay. Others might want to confrontate that person. Well, what did I do wrong? What's happening here? And thank you for your sharings. That was very useful. It's two different sharings. So, and there is another share. May say, was the person not who I thought they were? Had I made a mistake and waved at a random stranger like a crazy person? Thank you so much, May, for sharing that. Yes, it could be. So that is thoughts, right? So I think that is perfect just to wrap up what we can take from this, or what we can learn from this simple exercise. So as you can see, we all experience the same situation, but we all had different interpretations of them. We all had different thoughts, which led to different behaviors. So what can we take from here? Are thoughts facts? I don't think they are. So our thoughts are shaped by our perspective, by our interpretation of the experience that we have. Thoughts doesn't mean they are reality, not all the time, sometimes they are. So thoughts, they are not facts. And sometimes we give too much importance to thoughts. And I think this just shows that the way we interpret our situation, it can really affect our thoughts. But also, if you feel tired on a day, or if you feel sad, or you feel very happy, that will also shape the way you interpret your situation. So that will have a direct effect in the way you perceive in your thoughts. So our moods, our behaviors, and our thoughts, they are very related to each other. But thoughts are not facts. So to saying this, so our mindfulness can help us. So our mindfulness can support us in this situation. So if we become aware, and that's what we do when we practice mindfulness, we just practice this skill of becoming aware with non-judgment and kindness, so with specific qualities. So by becoming aware of our thoughts, we're able to become less caught into them. So imagine some of these thoughts that you shared, maybe they just be very sticky in your mind, and you might ruminate about this all day long, thinking, oh, what did I do wrong? Or was that the right person? Oh my God, did I make a silly situation of myself? And that might lead even then to feel upset and ashamed. So by becoming aware of thoughts, then we might be able to label thoughts as being helpful thoughts or unhelpful. And by becoming aware of thoughts, we create the capacity to become less caught into them, into the stories of our minds. And by gaining this control of knowing when we're getting caught into thoughts that are not helpful, then we have this choice to where to put our attention, where to put our energy, but also to create this inner strength. This is all about the session today. This inner strength of what is truth or what is not. So I'm going to guide you now to the mindfulness meditation. So there's many ways to practice mindfulness. Some they're more formal, some of them are more informal. So we're going to practice a formal meditation. So, as usual, as I usually say, you're more than welcome to find a comfortable seated position. We usually practice guided meditations in a seated position, so where you can find some wakefulness into your spine, so where you can be present to yourself. But sometimes this is not comfortable. You might have some pains, you might have some discomfort. So you're more than welcome to lie down if you want. We'll be doing this for around 8 minutes. So finding that position. So if you're lying down, making sure that your legs are supported or the knees are bent if you want for more support in the lower back. But if you're seated, I invite you to come to that posture where the hips are at least knee level, so the spine is more self-supported. Legs uncrossed with the feet grounded on the floor. And then if you can, just come away from the back of the chair so the spine is erect, not too rigid. And then allowing the eyes to close or having a soft gaze. Making this definitely change in your posture as you sit here. Becoming aware of your feet on the floor. Becoming aware of the seat bones, sensation of the weight of the body in contact with the chair. And then I invite you to rest your awareness into the breath if that's okay. And so the breath might not be a good anchor for some of us. So you're more than welcome to rest your awareness in a specific part of your body that you feel grounded. As resting your awareness into the breath, just starting to notice where you feel the breath moving strongly, most vivid. And that might be the tip of the nose, might be the air moving on the back of the throat. Could be the rise and expansion of the chest or the belly. So resting your awareness into this area where you feel the breath most vivid. And just allowing the breath to move naturally. We don't want to change or manipulate the breath. We just want to observe the breath in its natural rhythm. No need to force it, no need to change it, but just being with this breath, just as it is. Over and over, coming back to sensations of breathing in the body. And as we practice to anchor our awareness, you might notice that thoughts might popping up through your mind. And when you notice this, don't be too hard on yourself. Maybe even congratulating yourself. Well done. I recognize these thoughts. And by doing this, do this with a sense of kindness towards you. And then inviting your awareness to come back to the anchor, come back to the breath. And this is the practice of mindfulness. We find objects to rest our awareness, our attention. But our mind, which is our monkey minds, they are going to go to many ways, many places. And this is normal. So our practice is to recognize and come back over and over. The mind will wander a million times. And our task is to, a million times, bring the mind back to our anchor, to the breath. You can also observe your thoughts as they pop into your mind. When you notice, maybe label them. Maybe you notice thoughts about worrying. So labeling this thought worry or daydreaming or thinking, judging, planning. By doing that, you step back from the thought itself. You become aware of the thoughts just as it is. You need to get caught into the story. Recognizing thoughts just as thoughts. If thoughts arise, then just let them be. Noticing with gentleness, choosing where to pay your attention again. Into your anchor, into the breath. And following this breath and this breath again. Each breath a new beginning. Each breath letting go or letting be. Opportunity to come back to this present moment just as it is. As thoughts might continue to arise, maybe you play with observing them just as clouds moving on the sky. So if you're thinking, thought comes up, just allow them to land in the cloud and just pass by. Again, stepping back from the thoughts, from the story, getting caught into them. Noticing the thoughts just flooding in the sky, just like clouds. And then again, that choice to where to put your attention, where to put your energy. The mind wanders, and you bring it back over and over. If the mind wanders, just acknowledge these thoughts just as a mental event. And then coming back to the present moment. And I'm going to give you a moment of silence just to play with that. Now I invite you to bring your awareness back to the body, starting to notice those areas of contact with the floor or the chair. Maybe having a sense of the whole body as you sit here, awake, present, in this moment, just as it is. And then, if your eyes are closed, I invite you to open the eyes gently. You're more than welcome to do any movement. I feel good just to do maybe a gentle stretch to add movement into the body after sitting for a bit longer. And you're more than welcome to add any comment about your experience in this practice if you want. I hope that, well, I don't hope, but I assume that most of you notice your mind drifting away many times. And so if we don't pay attention, we won't be noticing where the mind goes. This is one of the key mindfulness attitudes. We come back to the present moment over and over. There's no right or wrong. It doesn't matter. Many times our mind will wander away. So just to wrap up what I'm hoping that you take from today's session. So our thoughts can drive us crazy, let's say. And thoughts have a direct effect on our emotions, our behaviors, which will have a direct effect towards ourselves, our well-being, and towards the well-being of others, people that surround us. And by practicing mindfulness, then we become aware of thoughts. And when we become aware of them, then we do have the choice to act on them or not. We easily get caught into our autopilots. So we easily get caught into the unhelpful patterns that we have. And you might notice that as more as you practice mindfulness. Our mind usually have a tendency to go towards same places over and over, our patterns. So by practicing mindfulness, this gives us the strength to recognize thoughts when they're just thoughts, and to know when we're getting caught into those unhelpful patterns of thinking, and step back to the present moment, to a place that you have a choice for yourself, a better choice. So hopefully this was useful for you. And some of you might have done mindfulness before, maybe not. and that'll be it. So if anyone would like to share something, you're more than welcome, or ask anything. I'm sure Carrie is going to join us in any moment from now.
Thanks so much, Sarah. What a fantastic session.
Thank
I still
you.
feel pretty chilled from your meditation
Mhm.
and the guided mindfulness practice there. It was lovely. Thank you so much for sharing this really, really helpful stuff with us. I know myself and many people around me, we struggle with our minds and our thoughts constantly. And so it's really, really helpful to make this really normal and to open this place for discussion. And if anyone has any questions, do drop them in the chat. And we do have a couple of minutes to discuss. If you have a question about yourself or just about mindfulness or meditation in general, this is your space to
Yeah.
ask. I have a question though, if I may, Zara.
Yeah.
I would love to know, how long have you been practicing mindfulness and meditation? And if someone thought, you know what, I could really take a leaf out of this book, how would you recommend someone getting started? Where do you begin with this?
The only place to begin is by practicing. Um, and so I've started to practice many, many years ago. And like everything, we need to get into the habit of doing it. So I had periods of my life that maybe I was practicing more regularly, maybe other things slip away a bit. But I think the mindfulness is about that, is to recognize when we get into those non-helpful patterns again, and knowing that we have a choice to restart again. We always restart again. Um, and so it's been around 8 years I've been practicing mindfulness. And I notice the benefits. The more I practice, is the benefits. I've more, I can see the benefits better in my life and the way I interact with others, and I deal with life circumstances. I don't think that is a, any good way to do it. The only way to do it is by doing it. So my recommendation is for anyone that just start maybe just doing a 3 minute breath meditation or something simple, because like any new habit, we need to get into the ritual and the practice of doing it. So I do recommend anyone, you want to get into a habit of doing, maybe just doing like 3 minutes, either in the morning or in the afternoon, maybe just having a set time to start with, and just doing it every day. And when that feels comfortable for you, then maybe doing 5 minutes, and then maybe 10 minutes, and maybe 15. And there's many apps that people can use for free. Um, and loads of things out there. So yeah, that is my sharing on that.
Thank you so much, Sarah. That's really great, and I hope it inspires people to give it a
Mhm.
shot. There's some lovely comments here. I'm going to share a couple. I love the honesty there, Carol. A little bit dubious at the start. Didn't know what you were getting yourself into, perhaps, but I'm hope it was good, and I hope you have a good afternoon at work. And Ruth, what a lovely comment as well. Um, Monkey minds.
Monkey mind.
And this maybe is a mantra for us.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling myself all the time. I get caught into worrying about something that I don't have control. Is what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, let's see. This is not reality. This didn't happen. It's just a story. And when we can step back from that, we can decenter from the thoughts, the experience, then we go, "Oh, okay." And then we can come back to a place that we can act from that inner strength of what is really important to us as well.
Yeah. Thanks so much. What a great session. It was really, really lovely. And thank you so much for taking your time this lunchtime.
Pleasure.
And everybody else who has been here today, we wish you a lovely
Thank
afternoon,
you.
wherever you are getting up to. And we will be back here this evening at 7 o'clock with a wonderful session, a wonderful topic, which will help us dig a little bit deeper into thoughts, especially fears, and kind of turn them upside down, turn them on their heads, shift our perspectives, with the hope of a little bit of a break. So please do come back at 7 o'clock tonight, and then of course tomorrow for our final day here on this yoga experience for all. So wishing you a wonderful afternoon, and thank you for being here, and we'll see you really soon.